Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome back.
Uh,
It's your boy Christian in the building. We're here with Scott. I think Scott's ready now.
uh, yeah, no, another full court press.
These intros are giving a whole new life to this pod.
They're getting interesting, you know what I mean?
Oh, that's so funny.
All right, let's see. All right, cool. On April 11th, we got the close of the regular season. Uh, Want to come on here, give you guys their final ballots for all the awards. Um, it's a pretty long list, Christian.
It's a really long list. It took a lot of time. It's gonna spark great conversation, I bet, on this episode.
82 games come and gone. It's a long season, you know what I mean? And people always talk about the diminishing of the regular season and all that. I enjoy it. You know what I mean? You get to see
Same,
all the different
same.
matchups. You get to see people like honing in on their skills and these teams grow. Um, for me, when I look back at this season, it's kind of crazy just the amount of change we saw, and not necessarily like individual growth, but team growth. Teams like Boston, teams like Memphis, um, you know, Toronto's growth from the beginning of the season to the end, or how Cleveland came out hot and the injuries derailing their season. Just the amount of change and of positioning and power we saw throughout the couple months.
No, absolutely. I
Uh,
love the dimensions of the season. Continue.
did you have a favorite moment from the regular season?
Favorite moment?
Most memorable?
Most memorable. I think the happiest I got as a Laker fan. Well, first of all, tonight, on a side note, there were some moments tonight. Malik Monk showed out in Denver. He had 41 points. For those that don't know, Austin Reeves dropped a 30-point triple double, 31 points, 15 rebounds, and 10 assists. He's the only fifth rookie in NBA history to ever record a 30-point, 15 rebound, and 10-point game. He joins Jerry West, Kareem Abdul Jabbar, and two other dudes, but like the list is wild. So shout out to Austin Reeves, the boys from Arkansas. They showed out, Monk and Reeves. But the best one for Laker fans, I feel like, is when we were in Sacramento
Okay,
and Reeves hit
the
the
game winner.
three, the game winner. Russ made a terrific play and found him. And bro, Reeves, he said first of all, it was a 4-point play, should have been. He got fouled on the shot, but the refs didn't call it. And that was probably the highlight, unfortunately, of our season. Um,
uh, Mine was right. Easily my favorite moment of the season had to be like that first 2 weeks that Halliburton was on Indiana.
first of all, we haven't talked about Tyrese. Your boy been absolutely balling lately. So shout out to him.
Yeah, the numbers went a little down like the last like a week or two, but it's all right. He's still
I
playing
mean,
well.
when you're putting up like 19 assists and no turnovers, and you're like every other day, you're one of two point guards in the NBA history, and then the only player in NBA history. Like Tyrese had like a cool little 3 week stretch there where he was
Yeah.
putting up some all time performances. I was like, wow, wow. So no, yeah,
Yeah.
and then the Kings just they kinged, and they traded your boy for no reason. But no, Tyrese was balling. Do you have a memory that really stands out though?
um, I think honestly, like it was there was so much. I don't think I have like a singular one. Maybe like the Lamelo game, dude, against Giannis.
Oh wow, fireworks!
Just that was a show. How about the 50-point games we were having like throughout March? There were
Oh,
just so
March was
many.
popping.
You know what I mean? Like there was so much great basketball this year. Honestly, on a personal level, I guess my favorite moment would have been the Clipper Sixer game. Just being able to see these guys live and really taking the game like first view.
You know what? Ditto, ditto. Yeah, absolutely. Then I'll also throw in when I actually got to go see Braun on New Year's Eve. At the time, he put up 46 points, which was his high for the season. But yeah, they absolutely just stomped Portland, just destroyed. I think it was our only blow up this year. So I got to witness that one up close in person. So yeah.
There you go. All right. Let's get started on this these awards. I want to start at MVP. I think we've been
Oh,
talking about this one consistently, for the last couple of weeks. We all know the three names. Um, I landed on Jokic. I'm thinking you did as well.
okay. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I got Jokic, Nikola Jokic back to back.
Yeah, Nikola Jokic for a season, man. He carried this Denver team from start to finish, down his two max guys. And, they had guards out there. They had Composo playing minutes, like Bones Highland stepping up in big moments for them. So
Austin Rivers.
Austin Rivers, like in it, but Jokic just statistically and visually the way he commands defense, because you can't double team him because he's going to find shooters and he's just too big. We've been through it all. Um, did you have it Giannis and then Embiid as well?
No, I actually had Booker second.
Second, okay.
Yeah, and I had Giannis third. I mean, I looked at what Booker's done the entire year, the improvement on his game, and when CP went out, he's unquestionably their best player on that team, and he put the
Mm-hmm.
team on his back. And I mean, they won 63, 64 games. What am I supposed to do with that? He was durable. He basically played the games. Um, if anyone else that was a media darling put up his numbers 27, 5 and 5 and had 60 plus wins, they would have won the MVP. So even though I wanted to go Giannis, I'm like, the way they've been voting for the past 15 years or so, people can say, Booker got robbed. So I just got to give Booker love. I think he should have been a lot closer in that race. I'm not sure why the media doesn't fuck with him like that, but the Devin Booker slander has got to stop. And then I had Giannis for third.
I think Giannis's case, right? Obviously, like because Booker had an amazing season, but the Giannis and the Embiid numbers are just so glaring, as well as like well, at least Embiid had the case of like dealing with wacky turmoil the whole year pretty much. And I hear you with like the way Booker faced adversity too, in the form of stepping up in health. I think that's just narratives and storylines that these guys get personally attached to because that's the one they've been following or whatever. And like you said, like Phoenix he's not it's crazy. They for a finals team, they really never got taken seriously, and they came out this season and they dominated from the start to the beginning, or from the beginning to the end, man. Like I don't know. I think Devin Booker's a great choice for second. I'm not mad at that at all.
Yeah, because I looked at his numbers a little harder like right before we came on here, and I was like, man, I was like, if Kawhi would have put these numbers up, he would have won MVP. There's nothing Jokic could have done.
Mm,
Like they would have gave Kawhi the MVP. If the Clippers went out and did what the Phoenix Suns did this year, Kawhi would have won MVP with Booker's numbers. And I was like, this is rubbing me the wrong way because like Booker doesn't have to win it, but like dudes aren't going to have him in the top five. Some lists are going to have him completely vacant. And I was like, I don't really fuck with Phoenix, but shout out to the boy Book. He's a Kobe guy. Anybody that's a Kobe guy is a Christian guy. So I fucks with him. But yeah, Giannis, you know how I really feel though. Like I feel like the best player in the game should get MVP. I don't care what the numbers are. If every GM in the league would want you, then you're the most valuable. So the way I would typically vote, Giannis is my MVP. And if he wins 6 in a row, he wins 6 in a row. I don't, the whole voter for T thing, I'm not a fan of the whole participation awards. I'm not a fan of it. But, you know, I think Nikola Jokic, if we look at the last 2 years he's put up in the regular season, everybody needs to understand. Jokic got screwed out of one more season. He would have been on that top NBA 75th list off the rip. The man is one of the best bigs we've ever seen. He's a gem, and I can't say enough about Jokic, man. He's fully shredding the whole position basketball. Like we're so far into the position list at this point. I can honestly say he's a point guard. I
Yeah.
could say that, and it wouldn't be hyperbole. It wouldn't be stupid. Like he's a talent. He's one of my favorite players I've ever watched play the game of basketball. I feel like I'm being taught something every time I turn on a Denver Nuggets game and he's playing.
Rookie of the year. I think this race got tighter than, I thought it should be. But when you look at the numbers, I think it is a little close, maybe especially as far as like injuries kind of derailed Mobley's, momentum towards the end. Because Cleveland started falling and Barnes' team started doing a little better. Where'd you end up landing on this one though?
I have Evan Mobley as the rookie of the year. If you look peak for peak with all the other rookies, when he was balling out and he was healthy, they were winning games. Like his team performed the best, and he was a huge reason as to why. Um, in a rookie season, you're gonna have ups, you're gonna have downs, and I just feel like his game burned the brightest out of. And by the way, Cade, I don't feel like was getting enough love the last 2.5, 3 months of the season. Remember, he came into the season injured. I believe he had an ankle problem, but Cade was balling out. He was averaging like 27 and 7 for like a good stretch. Like
Clutch moments too.
Cade proved I was the number one overall pick. Like
Yes.
we don't
Yeah,
know.
that's
I
fair.
still would have gone Mobley, but he justified the Pistons with his game this year. I can say that, which is a huge compliment.
Interesting, because apparently when what the executives are saying that pretty much before the draft, I remember all of them were saying you pick Cade because the way the league's going is you need the guy that could have the ball in his hands because it's just down the stretch of games they can dictate what's happening where a guy like Mobley might it's not as easy for him because he's not going to have the ball in his hands all the time
Mm-hmm.
to take
And then
over offensively. So they're like,
and
you
then
have to take Cade. But I also had Evan Mobley. I think, like you said, just defensively, this kid came in and he was just in the right spots every time. Able the malleability of playing center his whole life and then kind of just going to power forward there with Jared Allen, which probably helped him. But the fact that you can put him on the perimeter and bring him inside, he was a wizard, bro, on that end. And also, that team, you saw a big jump, and he's the main reason why, I think.
no, absolutely. You can tell he's used. You could tell that he's got experience playing with other big, being his brother. That's still back at USC because of how seamless him and Jared was playing off of each other. But no, I second that. And lastly, I had Scotty Barnes number three. But I felt like a great all around year for those three rookies. Just exceptional moments out of all three of them.
Interesting. I had Scotty second. I
Okay,
think just again the defensive stuff and just some of
he's
the
nice.
some of the bigger moments, on national TV and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that. Like he's got he wants it, you know what I mean? So it was
He's in the
just
playoffs. He's in the playoffs.
preference. I'm very interested in this one because I think this is one of those ones that was actually a lot of these awards were actually kind of up in the air, but this one really sticks out, and that's the defensive player of the year. A lot of different thoughts on who you should give it to, positional value stuff as far as defense. Um, I don't know. I'm pretty interested to hear where you went with this one.
I went Giannis.
Giannis Antetokounmpo for defensive player of the year.
Yeah. Up next, I had Bam, and then I actually had Marcus Smart on there. That was my top three.
Interesting. I have the same top three, and we
Wait,
haven't
wait, wait,
talked
for
about
real?
this. I have in a little different order though. I have Marcus
Oh,
above
different order.
Bam,
Okay. Okay.
but I did go with Giannis as well. He's just the best player in the game, and the way he affects the on the defensive end is man. He's blocking shots. He's guarding everybody full court. Like
He literally had a
he's
weekend where he blocked Joel Embiid's like game-winning dunk, and then turn around and hit a game-tying three against Kevin Durant. Like that's what he possesses.
bro, and low key, he's probably the best rebounder in the league too. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and that's a major part of defense. Um, Marcus over Bam. I want Marcus because I think the Celtics deserve credit. They're the first. They're the end of the year is the best defensive team in the league, and I think he's he sets the tone and also I want to give some guard love because this traditionally you give guys like Gobert and just the Marcus Sauls just because they're protect the rim. Well, I think certain guys on the perimeter can affect a game and just be game changers because they're going to get steals, they're going to put pressure, they're going to speed up your offense, so you're not getting like the looks you want. So I want to give Marcus and the Celtics some love with the second spot there.
Damn, I'm not married to Bam at the number two slot. Like Scott, you talk nice to me right now. I'm gonna have Marcus Smart number two. Then, like, you made some great basketball points there. I thought about Bam and his size, but you make a great point with the guards impacting defense. And when you watch the Celtics play, like you say, Maya Donka got them boys playing defense, and Marcus Smart is literally the spearhead of that defense at the top. So it's yeah. Who I'm interested. Who was your fourth?
Defensive player, I actually went Embiid fourth.
Interesting. Who's your
Embiid,
fifth?
I don't have a fifth on my list right now,
Okay,
honestly.
okay, okay.
Um, but yeah, I went with Embiid. I think his he really stepped up on that end. Both not obviously the offensive stuff and showing up and like that, but defensively, man, he was that guy who protects the rim as good as anybody. Also, excellent rebounder. And his perimeter stuff is, people are gonna say Gobert is the best defensive big. I don't know, man. I think what Giannis and B did this year just was a little better.
Okay, all right.
Where'd you go with most improved? Because this is another one, man. I think there are some great candidates here.
Most improved. Where's my list at? Oh, I went with Ja.
Ja Morant.
Yeah,
Okay. Because I mean, Ja made a great leap, man. I don't think it's a bad pick at all, Ja. So Ingram won it last year, correct?
yeah.
So this is a
Mhm.
weird award because it's one of those ones where it's like, I guess you would. So you take Ja because the good to great thing or what?
Absolutely. Again, I'm not a fan of participation awards. I think I think that just breeds mediocrity. And I think if a dude is that dude, then damn it, give him his due. And
Mm-hmm.
Ja would have played more games. I would have had his ass in the top three MVP voting. I don't give a fuck. Like the narrative of, oh no, like he's like that's beneath him. I also don't like that shit either. Like, oh, it's beneath Jaws stature in the game to be most improved. We look at him as a face. No, 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 no. These dudes below him gotta get good then. Get good, get great. And to go from 19 a game to almost 28 a game, I was like, yo, Ja was absolutely always a candidate for me with this award. Yeah.
I'm not mad at it. I can't lie to you. He wasn't. I actually went with his teammate. I went with Desmond Bain, and I took the most improved thing at his face value. And I look at John Morant and what he's done. It for sure made a statistical leap, but I think this is always in there. And I think if it was just came down to opportunity and credit to Jenkins and that staff for finally like giving them the keys. And I hear you. I don't think you're making a bad argument. I just think Desmond Bain, as far as like straight up skill and adjusting to the game, was the most improved player, like from here to here.
Okay. All right. I feel it. We gonna just take Ja for granted because he's supposed to do this, I guess. But I don't like taking players for. That's basically what it is. We take
I
for
mean,
granted and be like,
Desmond.
well, you're a number two pick, so you're supposed to do this. That's not how I look at it. There's a lot of dudes that don't make leaps like that. So I
Yeah.
got to give a dude his due. But I'm not mad at your pick, by the way. I had Desmond second. So before I get all, I had
I'm like he
Desmond
doubled
as
his
my
points.
no,
Like,
100%. He went from 9 to 18. I had Desmond number two. I just gotta bust your balls real quick, but I had Desmond number two.
yeah.
Did you give Dejounte Murray any love on that? Was he third or fourth?
He would have been fifth.
Ooh,
So I have Tyrese Maxey, Jordan Poole, and then Jaw.
interesting. Okay, okay, got you. I had it.
Six.
I had. You didn't have
Oh,
Darius
go ahead.
Garland in there?
I Garland. I think he made a jump like, but again, he went from like what 18 to like 21. And
Yeah.
yeah, they did like play very well and stuff like that. And he was kind of the spearhead on offense. But I think down the stretch, you saw teams figure out kind of like, hey, if we stop Garland, there's not much here around him. So like it kind of hindered his momentum towards the end, and also injuries derailed that Cavs season, to an extent, it was still a successful season for Cleveland.
I
You
feel
guys
you.
have a lot of building blocks, but it's just for me, I thought the other guys impacted, a little differently.
Not mad at it.
Six man, I think this was a runaway, right? Tyler Hero.
Yeah, yeah. Here, lock this up probably late December.
Yeah, I don't think we gave him much love in the top 15 under 25. But man, he's been balling out this year, and he can gives Miami that X factor. They're a really deep team, and he's I don't know, he could show up in playoff games hopefully for them, but that's a weird team on Miami there, but that's for next one. Coach of the year. This is another one that's kind of historically the narrative has been the guy who overachieves the most. I went Monty Williams though. I
Wow, Scott, don't do it.
I went Monty Williams.
Okay,
I
okay. Well, I
think
gotta hear this.
it's just because Phoenix has literally dominated the NBA this season as far as like start to finish. They've been the most buttoned up team. Their execution down the stretch, and I know Chris Paul's a big part of this, but still, they don't I don't know, they just don't make mistakes, dude. They're buttoned up to the T, and good. It's good coaching by Monty and get those guys to buy in.
I'm not mad at it. I would say I did not go with Monty just because this is a little bit of the situation where I don't know really how good Monty is because he's got Chris Paul. He's got the greatest floor general ever. And I feel that's what you were kind of alluding to a little bit there. But I get it with Monty. I looked at the Phoenix Suns and they were the healthiest team for like the majority of the season, and their stars were able to play the games until like the last like month and a half. So I went with Taylor Jenkins. I called him out at the start of this season and said he's got a special team. Everybody look at Memphis this year, but I want to see what Taylor Jenkins does. And Ja only played 57 games, and Dylan Brooks was their second best player coming into this season. He's only played 32 games. He was
Mhm.
giving them 18 points per game last season, and in the playoffs, he was averaging 26. So he came into this season as their second best player.
Yep.
Maybe we got Jaren Jackson in there, whatever that situation is. But yeah, Desmond Bain basically just picked up that production and literally slid seamlessly for Brooks. But Taylor Jenkins, I gotta give a lot of love to that guy over there in Memphis because he got them boys playing. And anytime you go 20-3 with your best player not out there, I'm sorry. I only got one place to look, and that's the coach. I'm looking
Mm.
straight at the coach. So yeah, I thought it was an obvious one.
Did you have Spoelstra third?
Of course, I had Spoelstra third. You know, that's my boy. First of
Okay.
all, whoa, hold on. I didn't even have a Monty second.
Who's your
I
second?
got I got to give love to Ime Udoka
Okay, I had him fourth.
because that man, sheesh, he coached his ass off. They it seems like when Marcus Smart made those comments about dudes not passing the ball and calling them out publicly, it looks like they said, let's give this coach a chance. Let's buy in and let's play for one another. And the emergence of Robert Williams and just their entire situation, Ime Udoka to me was my number two.
You may have had a great year, man. This is a guy who this team struggled coming out the gates. I mean, there was an adjustment period there. And they made really key moves, at the trade deadline, bringing in guys that, just want to ball and he's also the growth we've seen from Tatum. You could give him a lot of, credit for that because he's kind of unlocked this, playmaking ability in Tatum and, just having these guys play off each other, like you said. So I'm not mad at all. But I had him fourth. I went Monty, Jenkins, Spolstra, and then Ime.
I had a Jason Kidd four. Anytime you go like 20th in defense to a top five defense, I gotta look straight at the coach. And he turned that roster around like the way they play. So I gave J Kidd some love. I think he would have been a little higher on this list, but his star player decided to come in out of shape for the first month of the season. But I think Jason Kidd would have been a little higher on this list. And then I finished it with JB Bickerstaff, the Cleveland Cavaliers coach. That was my fifth one. He obviously, I think, was running away with it at first, but injuries derailed their season. So you saw it affect Garland maybe on most improved, but it affected the coach on coach of the year, the injuries. So
right, man. You want to go to the All NBA teams?
Let's get it.
All right.
I gotta hear your first team.
Okay, so my first team, uh, I went position wise. I know I did not cop out and do the Jokic and Embiid thing. I think
God,
historically,
hold on. I have to interrupt you. That's why I fucks with you. I was like, I'm making this list. We didn't talk about this. I'm
no.
like, he's not gonna bitch out. He's gonna bring the smoke. Somebody gotta get left off. And I was like, I know Scott's not gonna take the easy way out. Cause that's the dumbest shit. So I'm excited to hear that you did it the right way.
Yeah, I'm not copping out. This is just historically how it's been. Carmelo Anthony was third in MVP voting. And he ended up on second team behind LeBron and Durant. I mean, it happened the same thing with Blake Griffin. Historically, just guys, this is what it is. I want these are the first, second, and third teams. I want them to make sense. They got to look like lineups to me. Um, and historically, it's just how it's been. So my first team, I'm going at the guards. I have Luka Doncic and Devin Booker. The forwards, I have Giannis Antetokounmpo, Jason Tatum, and then at center, I put Jokic, our MVP. I'm pretty sure you'd have the same.
Scott, that's my exact same list.
Yeah, I think that's kind of consensus around the league. I think that's going
Definitely
to be your
not.
first team.
Definitely not.
You think a lot of people are doing the Embiid thing?
Absolutely, they're gonna make. I look, man. I I don't understand the infatuation with the media and Joel. Like I said, he ain't even the best player in his conference. With all due respect, and they love this guy. They're making concessions, and they're gonna have him on that. Him and Jokic will be in that first team All NBA. Unfortunately, and by the way, we'll talk off camera, but I just want to give the viewers a little insight. I'm interested in kind of doing like maybe a potential pod on how we do all NBA teams
Mm-hmm.
as far as an idea of going for it, because I'm not even a fan of like the original, like having like the positions on there, but save that for later.
Yeah. So my second team, I'm interested to hear where you went with this.
I got John Morant at the guard position. I got Steph Curry at the guard position. I got my two forwards are LeBron James and DeMar DeRozan, and my center is Joel Embiid.
Okay. I knew this was gonna happen.
You put DeRozan as a guard.
No, I have Jaw and Steph. I have Embiid. I have DeRozan.
You have
I went with Kevin
KD.
Durant. I went with Kevin Durant's second team.
Wow.
I think comparable seasons between him and LeBron. LeBron has some of the efficiency stuff, but just team success is a big part of this. Kevin Durant, when he was not playing, his team went 8-19 compared to I think it was like 25 and like 18 or something like with him. Um, and then yeah, just the just how disappointing the Lakers season was. LeBron put up some numbers, but historically, I just I don't know. I feel like third team is appropriate this year.
Okay.
Uh, who I don't know who else. So who was on your third team then?
I got my guards are Trey Young, Chris Paul. My forwards is Kevin Durant, Jimmy Butler, and my center is Cat. I
Oh,
put KD on the third team just because he's, shit happens. You got to be on the third team. Like you got injuries. He was balling when he was healthy and whatnot, but at the end of the day, he's in the play-in. We can look at LeBron, same situation, but I can make an argument that man, it's honestly a toss up. Like I'm not bent out of shape over the whole KD LeBron thing this year. I think the fact that LeBron's even comparable in putting up numbers as Kevin Durant 4 years later, like it's just insanity. Like both are
yeah,
ballers, both had less than ideal situations this year. So it you know, full disclosure, I actually had DeMar on the third team and I had on the second team, I had LeBron and KD because
Okay.
there has not been a team worse after the All-Star break than the Chicago Bulls. And I think it's safe to say DeMar has had, now they've had injuries in Chicago, but his situation is a lot better than what KD and what LeBron had. And he fell off. Like, no diss to him. He put up a terrific year. He put some numbers up, but they were the worst team after the All-Star break.
Yeah,
Like
they're a
the
bad team.
they were a bad team, and they were a bad team against good teams the entire season. So the first list I actually had, I had DeMar on the third team with Jimmy Butler, and I had Katie and Braun because under better circumstances, I just they were better. I don't know. I'm just I don't know. It's weird. It's weird.
I think DeMar carried it's weird because the problem is LeBron season for me. It was just from start to finish. It was gloomy, and Demar had those high moments, but I'm not mad at it. If it's KD and LeBron on second team, it can historically it probably looks better.
It looks better, and you just can't be the worst team. They were the worst team of all. Like, no, I'm sorry. I had to really think about it. They've been dog shit for the last like 2.5 months. Like they've been awful. So I just his moments were so bright, but man, he dropped off. He was supposed to be in the first team. I think you and I had this conversation a couple months ago, and we had him in the first team.
We
We were
did,
trying
yeah.
to make excuses to try and get the and Jason Tatum outperformed him the last 2 months. Giannis outperformed him the last 2 months. Uh, Kevin Durant outperformed him the last 2 months. Like those are all players in his own conference.
Um, how do you distinguish between Jimmy Butler and like maybe a Pascal Siakam? Because I went with Siakam.
Thank you. I thought I was forgetting someone. Same. I
Okay.
did not like Butler there. I know he was eligible to be there. I just looked up how many games he played, and I mean, technically he played enough. But I was looking, and I was like, I don't know. My heart was not in the Jimmy Butler pick whatsoever. But Spicy P, the last month and a half, he closed. He went
Yeah.
on a tear.
And he's got a little better rebounding stats, a little better assist numbers. Jimmy Butler has some of that efficiency stuff, but if you go games played, Siakam did 68, and Jimmy Butler's been in and out of the lineup all year. So I went with Siakam there. All right, that's our first. So those are our teams, man. Those are some pretty stacked team. Lee's in good
The
hands. He got a
league
good
is a
mixture of like vets, young guys,
real quick
aging guys.
shout out to Trey Young. He's the first player since Tiny Archibald, Nate Archibald, to score the most total points in the NBA and have the most total assists in the NBA. He's special. We talk a lot about Luka, but Trey Young is a bad boy, and he's going to be coming for a lot of these records.
Yeah, Trey Young stats were pretty insane. A part of me wanted to go Chris Paul over him, full transparency, but I those numbers were so insane that it was like, all right,
Well, wait,
like,
you have Trey Young and Chris Paul in your third team, right?
yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I'm tripping up, but I was like, initially when I did it, I was thinking about doing Trey over Steph as well, but yeah,
Ooh,
just because those numbers were insane. But then I started like thinking like, who would I rather have though? Like if I put Steph on the Hawks, if I put Chris Paul on the Hawks, how would that look? Type deal. But
I'd
um,
probably rather have Trey Young if I'm being completely honest with you.
uh,
I think it's a
well,
lot closer than you think.
I think it's close, but I went with Steph
I'm
because
not
I
mad
think
at it. It's the
I
chef.
would want
The
Steph.
chef.
Yeah.
It's the chef.
How about the defensive teams, man? These are, I think, some locks. Probably what Draymond Green, Marcus Smart, Giannis for that first team. Who was your? I was interested in your the guard and who you put at center.
So my first team, I have Marcus Smart, uh, Drew Holiday, Mikal Bridges as the forward, Giannis and Bam. That was actually my first team.
So I have Matisse and Marcus at the guards with
You
Bridges, Giannis, and Bam.
you put Matisse as a guard.
Yes, I did. Yeah.
Okay, okay, yeah. Well, yeah, I feel you.
Um, to get the length is just he puts pressure. Like we saw it in person, dude. How many steals did he get in that first half? Like three, just
He's
playing the passing lanes.
he's a menace.
Um, Second team, I actually had Drew Holiday, Gary Payton the second,
Oh,
uh,
okay.
Draymond, Jaren Jackson Jr., and Robert Williams.
Wow. So I actually had Drew. I mean, I had a DeJounte Murray, Fred Van Fleet.
Van Fleet, okay, get
I
some
gave I
all
gave
defensive teams love.
I gave Van Fleet some love, bro. Bro. People don't understand, man. He's big for them defensively. Like he's doing
Mhm.
his thing out there. He makes a huge difference for them. I got Matisse as a forward. I got Draymond as a forward as well, and I had Robert Williams as my center.
So I'm gonna just bring out the elephant in the room. Yes, people, we both
Yes.
left with Rudy Gobert on both teams. Like,
Fuck with us. What are Utah going to do? Fuck with us. Like, there's always time for some Utah slander. Always.
listen,
And yes, Donovan Mitchell was left off as well. He did not make any of the teams. I love you, Donovan. Just leave. Don't, please leave. I don't care where you
so
go. I'll root for you. Just get the hell out of Utah.
so the thing that Bam and Robert Williams can do is they're just so malleable, right?
Play
They can play
defense in the
both
postseason.
inside, play outside. Yeah, they can play defense in the postseason. Bam's got moments. How many of these block shots does he have down the stretch, to win games? Robert Williams was the key to really the defense in Boston, behind Marcus was his ability to switch out on guys and guard wings for them. So yeah, and Gobert, like, yeah, I get it. Some on-off numbers are in his favor, but just in today's league, I think I'd rather have those guys playing center for me. Um,
Absolutely.
you didn't have Jaren Jackson, did you? Who'd you have at your forwards?
I have Matisse
You
because
put
he's listed
Matisse.
as a
Okay,
forward, right?
I'll double check. But I'm pretty sure he would be eligible for guard. Matisse. I'd have to see his
He got to be a forward, at least listed. To not be able to shoot, there's no way he's a guard, bro.
he is listed as a shooting guard.
What?
Yeah.
So we got Andre Roberson of the 2020s. Okay.
Yeah.
Um.
He's yeah.
Oh shit. Well, by Van Fleet. So Van Fleet just got thrown off my island, and Matisse, I have him in at the guard, and my other forward is Jaren Jackson on the second team.
Okay. So the reason I went Gary Payton second, I think he's like second in deflections this year. And he's been a real bright spot for them, kind of taking on that pseudo Alex Caruso role for Golden
He
State.
says pseudo Alex Caruso. Caruso would have been on my list, by the way. He just missed too many games.
Missed too many games, yeah. Rookie teams. So first team, Cade Cunningham, Evan Mobley, Scotty Barnes, Franz Wagner, and Josh Giddey.
Oof, that's a fire five.
Yeah, some really great rookies this year, man. This is going to be one of the deeper classes, I think, that we'll remember. My second team, we had Io Dosamu, Bones Highland, Herb Jones, Jalen Green, and Chris Duarte.
Yeah, my boy Duarte. He was showing out in Indiana. They got a player.
Yeah, he came out of the gates hot. He was big moments. And some of these guys on the second team, like are second round guys, Herb Jones, he's just been pretty much a lockdown perimeter defender at the wing position for the most part, making it hard on some of the tough top guys, but also like he's proven to be a shooter. And I don't know if that's just a New Orleans thing where guys go there to learn how to shoot, but good for him. Bones Highland coming up big moments next to Jokic down the stretch here. I one of your favorite players.
Oh,
Yeah. All right, man. That's all the awards. I think for the most part, I'm surprised actually how kind of lockstep we were with most of the stuff.
I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, it was. I know it seems like we argue every pod on here, guys, but like it looks like we see a lot more eye to eye than we actually realize.
I mean, some like minor disagreements, but nothing out of bounds here, I think.
No, you even had me to switch one of my picks over. You had me. Who did you have me switch over?
Marcus over Bam.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for defensive player of the year. So yeah, no, yeah. I like your list a lot. They were good.
All right, cool. Well, we got some playing games coming up, then the playoffs, of course. So we got some really good episodes for you guys coming up. Anything you want to add before we take off?
No, nothing much. Everybody be safe.
All right, guys. See you next time.